says, are you better than Thebes? Situated on the Nile with water around her, the river was her defense. The water is her wall. It's not talking about the actual water, but that too. It's talking about the sea of people. The water to stand for the people, the nations, the multitudes, the languages. So it's saying the spirit of Cush in Egypt were her boundless strength. And it goes on to say Cush in Egypt were her boundless strength. Put in Libya were among her allies. Yet she was taken captive and went into exile. Her infants were dashed to pieces at every street corner. Lots were cast for her nobles, and all her great men were put in chains. You too will become drunk. You will go into hiding and seek refuge from the enemy. All your fortresses are like fig trees. With their first ripe fruit, when they are shaken, the figs fall into the mouth of the eater. Look at your troops. They are all weaklings. The gates of your land are wide open to your enemies. Fire has consumed the bars of your gates. Draw water for the siege, strengthen your defenses, work the clay, tread the mortar, repair the brickwork. There the fire will consume you, the sword will cut you down, they will devour you like a swarm of locusts. Multiply like grasshoppers, multiply like locusts. You have increased the number of your merchants. Remember, Baal is the deity of merchants, till they are more numerous than the stars in the sky. But like locusts, they strip the land, then fly away. Your guards are locusts. Your officials are swarms of locusts. They settle on the walls on a cold day. But when the sun appears, they fly away and no one knows where. King of Assyria, your shepherds slumber, your nobles lie down to rest. Your people are scattered on the mountains with no one to gather them. Nothing can heal you, your wound is fatal. All who hear the news about you clap their hands at your fall, for who has not felt your endless cruelty? So, you see that people want to avoid certain components of this. They want to avoid where the true Spirit of God is. The true Spirit of God isn't in gangs, it's not in the churches, not in corporations, not in the military, police. The true Spirit of God is in the Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order. That's why it says Cush in Egypt were her boundless strength. Now again, this is simply the truth. I say it here like I'd say it in Almaden or Oakland or Sacramento or wherever, Morgan Hill, San Jose. It's simply the truth. And as people deny this truth, it's to their great disgrace. Why would they deny this truth? When the Bible, to its extreme shame, confuses people about what the divine order is. And people go on and on about how they argue that the Jews are chosen. If they were chosen, then why aren't they leading in righteousness? God judges in righteousness. His throne is established in righteousness. Proverbs 16:12. Psalm 9. God judges the nations with equity. So they're supposed to look for what is actually righteous and just. But you see people resorting to immature stuff that reflects their poor genes, like gang stalking, joining social clubs and secret societies. They're not insisting on justice and righteousness. And as such, they're letting their families down. They are like the people in Revelation that hide in caves. They say to the mountains and the hills to fall on them and cover them. Because they didn't have the heart to do what is right. They didn't have the heart to insist on what is moral and just. They didn't have the heart to not need the Bible to be good. One can be good for goodness sake, as they say. In Luke 12:57, I believe it says, why don't you judge for yourselves what is right? Did they judge for themselves what is right? Or did they insist on doing what is wrong time and time again? And the more they did what was wrong, the more their souls became wrong. The more their cities became wrong. The more the nation of America, like every nation, became wrong, became evil. And again, woe to him who builds a city with bloodshed and establishes a town by injustice. The planet was built with bloodshed. They sought to establish it in injustice. Part of how America's being built is on threatening people like me, trying to scare them into playing the game. The word game is a play on words for mage, and witchcraft is something that's forbidden by God. It's forbidden by God to play stupid. God forbids people to organize, to harass people and to stalk them. But people weren't raised right, and they do so anyway. Woe to America because it has fallen It has failed to insist on what is right. The Messiah has come, and they even persecute me. They have no viable counter-argument for the fact that I'm the Messiah. There's 380,000 churches, and not a single one of them has presented a counter-argument because they know that I am the Son of God. That's why in the Bible it says that there's the lightning of the flashing spear. And martial is marital scrambled because Christ is the bridegroom. The word martial in their own language is marital scrambled, and Christ is called the bridegroom because it's a Royal African Falcon martial art order. That's why Hebrew is an Afro-Asiatic language. Other people don't know to be righteous but me, because they're too focused on the social norms of the world. They're too focused on the church's lies and propaganda and mere psychology. They're too focused on trivial matters. They're too focused on being afraid to do what's right, to do what is right. That's why in Revelation, toward the end, it says, outside the gates are the cowardly. Because when you're too afraid to do what's right, you do what is wrong. And the Lord detests the perverse in heart. The Lord detests the wicked. The righteous detest the dishonest. The wicked detest the upright, is what it says in Proverbs. Do people emphasize these scriptures? No. Because they know people are being wicked. And they know if they emphasize them, people are going to give them a hard time. Because they worship the devil. They're on board with the devil. They choose wickedness and injustice instead of moral precision. They choose to be scatterbrained and foolish instead of having focused moral intensity. And so, as they fume me, as they seek to throw me off, as they play their stupid image game, as they don't cling to the precepts of righteousness and justice, they sink lower and lower. And as they sink lower and lower, they fail more and more. Again, they have built their house on unjust gain. They have plotted the ruin of many people, shaming their house and their nation and forfeiting their souls. They have built the nation and the world on bloodshed and injustice. And that is the opposite of doing God's work. And they say stupid, despicable things. Can you imagine if there was 5 of me and there was 5 of the opposition view and they're trying to tell me to shut up? It's stupid. They wouldn't dare dream of it. Because I'm the top martial artist. And who are they? Just a worm. Just an arrogant worm that the government has told to harass me. If you don't want me to say these things, then don't insult me when I'm reading scripture and when I'm interpreting for people. It's pretty straightforward. It shouldn't be legal to provoke a righteous man when he's doing the right thing. That is sick. You have everybody everywhere insisting on evil all the time by their actions. But if I tell the truth about God, you send people to fume me and provoke me and try to run me over with the electric scooter and stuff like that. It's pathetic. I can't respect it at all. As a top martial artist, as the son of a Nigerian, I can't respect what they're doing, because I'm a man. I'm not some kind of pushover sissy that jumps on board with the first culture that comes their way out of being a sheep, out of being some kind of fool. Anyway, so like I said, a sword will flash in their cities. It will devour their false prophets, all their churches, mosques, synagogues. They're all doing the wrong thing. And I've proven that I'm the Son of God in all their religions. So if I'm not allowed to say that their churches, mosques, and synagogues are all wrong, then who is? And if nobody is, then there's no free speech. And if I'm not, certainly there's no free speech, because I've proven that with a universal scale that I'm the most righteous person. If the righteous man is not free to say the truth where it matters most, then nobody's free. An injustice for one is an injustice for all. And when that person is me, the most righteous person ever, that injustice is great. That injustice is like the sins of Babylon piled to the heavens. That's why in Revelation 18 it says, come out of her, my people. Come out of her philosophies. Come out of her silly, foolish ways. Come out of her arrogance. Come out of her refusal to do what's right. So, quite often the state tries to tell me what to do. I don't do what they say, but they always try to tell me what to do. And I say, I'm not playing their game. I don't follow their secret orders, their social clubs. I have nothing but resentment for their social clubs. They don't do what's right. Righteousness is greater than wealth. Righteousness is greater than conformity. and I have triumphed over Babylon, including the United States of America. Thank you.